Hi friends, how are you? It's been a very long time since I sat down to record a podcast. Welcome to podcast episode number 9. My name is Elsa and this is Knitted Creations podcast. Welcome to my new apartment and welcome to my yarn corner. I finally have a place to put up all of my yarn and just have a corner of the new apartment just for knitting, and this is my knitting corner. We moved into this apartment in the beginning of this year. Actually, we moved in the day after we got home from Japan, and it's been very hectic for these past few months. We have just recently settled into the new apartment. We've had a lot of things to do at work, both of us working weekends, late nights, and I've just not had the time at all to record a video. But I'm very happy to have some time today to show you everything that I've made, everything that I'm working on, stuff that I've bought. So this episode will be a lot, but please, if you like it, give it a like button or subscribe. It really helps me out. And yeah, you could also follow me on my Instagram, where I usually post more frequently than here. But without further ado, let's get into everything that I've done. So last time I did a YouTube video, I think it was in December, and a few things has happened since then. I finished a few projects that I talked about in my last podcast. I started new projects that I did not think I would, and surprise projects. I just want to share what I've been making. So I think I'm gonna start with the first finished object that has also been featured in this podcast before. And it's my Vienna scarf. It's the pattern by Petite Knit. And the pattern is called Vienna set, because you also get patterns to knit mittens that matches this scarf. I knitted this one in Cardiff Classic Cashmere in the color silver. And it's soft as butter. It's so smooth. I don't think I've ever had anything this smooth, garment wise or accessory wise, in my entire life. So this scarf is definitely something that I reach for every time I can, every time I go out. The winter is quite rough here in Sweden, and I've used this a lot since I finished it. I'm also very happy that I made it before our Japan trip, because I used it every day in Japan as well. So I'm just super happy with this, and I wish you could all just feel how squishy and soft it is, because I still haven't really gotten used to how soft it is. Every time I pick it up, I'm just I cannot really stop touching it. I'm very happy with the scarf. It's just all around stockinette, and you knit it in a tube. So you don't purl anything, you just knit all way round. I blocked this and I was a bit afraid that I would, like when I finished this, I was afraid that it was a bit short, so I blocked it and like tried to stretch it out a little bit. But I actually think I stretched it out more than I wanted to. It's not too long. I don't know, perhaps I could show you. So I can get it around once, but like first time I tried it on before blocking it, I think both of these like ended up almost here. So I was a bit afraid that it would be very difficult for me to like tie it if I wanted to, but I think now it's actually perfect. I can get it around twice if I really want to, but it's a bit of a stretch. So I usually just have it around like once and then tie it depending on how cold it is. Either way, I'm very happy with this Vienna scarf, and I love the color and I love the smooth cashmere yarn that I used for this one. Super happy with this. My next finished object that I've finished also before we went to Japan are my mittens. This is a pattern by Strikke Soffe, and the name of these mittens are called the Bjørg mittens. She's a Norwegian knitwear designer. She does a lot of very nice accessories, and this was actually my first time knitting color work and my first mittens. I really love the way that the yarn shines through, and what I really like about the accessories, or like the details I would say in this pattern, is that like it's not straight lines really, because it's stockinette stitch on this side, and I really like how you could see the V's instead of it being like a very sharp line. I don't know if you can understand what I mean, but I just really like how these look. The fit is great. I thought they would be a bit tight because, yeah, as I said, it was the first time I made mittens and color work. But I think that the fit is very good, and I did not use the recommended yarn for this pattern. I used stash yarn, which was a mix of Peruvian Highland wool as well. That's the beige color, and the pink color is the stash yarn I had left from my winter clutch that I made as a wedding purse. And it's in the color, I think it's called Winter Peach. It's the Helholt brand, the thinner version. And I really love this color combination, and I'm just overall very happy with these mittens. It's a very like, I don't know, classic Nordic type of mitten, and I really like this type of design. So very happy with my Bjørg mittens. I've been using these a lot, and I've actually received a lot of compliments for these. And yeah, overall very happy. So that were my Bjørg mittens. Another finished object of mine is actually a surprise cast on. I bought this yarn while we were in Japan. I really wanted to knit another hat for myself, and we went to this very lovely yarn shop while we were in Kyoto. It's called Walnut. There's one in Kyoto and there's also one in Tokyo. They sell a lot of Japanese yarn, both mohair and wool and merino wool, and it's hand dyed, and it's also spun in Japan as well. So I wanted to find something that I could knit a hat with for myself. And I found, let me see, I have yarn here. It's a merino wool. I don't remember. And the name is called Stroll. And the brand is Amirisu, I think. So it says it's house dyed yarn, and this one is DK weight, spun and dyed in Japan. It's 250 yards, approximately 228 meters, super wash merino wool. And I found this one in this very lovely like pink color. It's hand dyed, so it has a few like variegations in it. And I actually found it while I was wearing, because I had my mittens with me. So I just thought that wouldn't this be a great combination, knitting a hat that would fit my mittens. So I bought this yarn and I've made a hat since then. The hat I made is the Alaska hat by Second Knit, and this is what it looks like. So this pattern is actually started from the top and you knit to the bottom, and I've never done that before for anything, not a sweater, or a sweater is usually from top down, but I mean like for accessories, like I've never knitted socks starting with the toe, and I've never knitted a hat starting at the top. So it was a Turkish cast on, which was a very simple cast on, and then you work increases. And this pattern is very lovely because it's this 2x2 ribbing. And could you see like the color, how much it changes throughout? Because it is hand dyed, it has these variegations in it, and I really like it feels quite lively when it's a little bit different here and there. I really like knitting this pattern. I think the hat is actually a very good fit. I'm very happy with this because I wanted a hat that had a little bit of a tip like this one does, because the hats I've knitted so far for myself, I think I've been too like short. I made them too short for my head, where they fit perfectly but they don't have like this tip that I want. So I made this hat with the intention of having like a tip, and I just think that this combination of these mittens, which has the pink from my hat, and also together with my scarf because it's beige, so this is like the middleman or what you'd call it, like the person being between these two. And I'm actually very happy with the accessories I've made this winter. So that's my Alaska hat. I really recommend this pattern. It has a very nice fit. Very happy with it. Yeah, what else can I say about this one? When you get to the bottom, because you knit it just like as a long hat, and then you fold it where you want. What you do at the end is that you switch around the stitches, because it's 2x2 ribbing all the way around, but to get to the end you have to switch them around so it becomes 1x1 ribbing, so that you can do an Italian bind off. So that's the look of that one. Okay, those were my accessories that I've knitted this winter so far. I do have two other finished objects. One of them I do not have here because it's the zipper sweater for my husband. It's the thicker version. So for example, the one I'm wearing is the thin version, which only uses, I think I knitted this one with 4mm and Per Gynt. He also has a thinner version with Per Gynt, but he uses it so much, and it's his favorite sweater and almost uses it every day. And I thought he deserves another one so that he could, you know, combine both of them. And then I started the zipper sweater while we were in Japan actually, because I finished my other sweater while we were there, which I will talk about soon. And I don't have it here now is what I wanted to say, because I do not have the energy or the patience to sew in a zipper. So we actually asked a seamstress to help us. I say we because it was actually Michael who had the connection through his work. He found a seamstress that he asked if she would be able, or if she would like to help to sew in the zipper for us. So yeah, it's actually at the seamstress at the moment, and we will get it back in a few days. So I don't have it here, and I wish I would, because there is a problem with the sweater, and that's that the yarn has, I think I have a video that I could insert, but the yarn is bought from Sandnes Garn. I used the Fritids Garn for this one because it's the thicker version. I chose a thicker yarn, and that's one of the suggested yarns that you use, patterned by Petite Knit. The problem with the yarn is that it changed colors throughout. So like in the middle of of the body, there is a lighter section, and that's not something that I usually think about when I buy yarn from like this huge company like Sandnes Garn. I don't really think that the yarn would have different color. It's the same color batch. So I thought, you know, I just assumed that it would be similar throughout, but actually there is a lighter part of the body that really bothers me, and I don't know what to do with it. And it's something that I saw when I finished the sweater, and I am actually very frustrated that it could happen. I don't know what to do. I think I will just, you know, let it be for now, and if it bothers me too much, I might have to rip it up and see if I can do something to decrease the color. I can show you. This is the color I used, Fritids Garn, in the color 4071. It's a brown color. I really like this color, but I'm very frustrated that it was so different from each other. Like, I think perhaps it was like 2 or 3 balls of yarn that were much lighter than the other ones, and those ended up being like in the middle of the body. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about that one. I'm still decompressing from that whole thing, but yeah, we'll see what it looks like. I think that you could actually see it quite a lot if you think about it, but if you don't know it's there, perhaps you do not think about it. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I'll take a decision later on regarding that one. My last finished project that I've made, I actually finished this one while we were in Japan. Here is my cardigan number 9, a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's a saddle shoulder construction. It was quite easy to follow along this pattern. I was super excited to have a cardigan that had a round neck, because I only have one other cardigan that I've made myself, which has a V-neck, and this one has a high and round neck, which I was super excited to have. I finished this, as I said, while we were in Japan, but I didn't have the opportunity to block it because I didn't have enough towels. We weren't at home. We were living in different Airbnbs. I didn't know how long it would take for this one to dry, and I didn't it would just be a hassle. So I had to wait until we got home, and I was a bit afraid. I still have these tails to weave in, and I will tell you why. I was a bit afraid while I was knitting the sleeves, and I finished the sleeves, that they would be too short, because I knitted to what it said in the pattern, and before I blocked it, I tried it on, and the sleeves were super short. But I somehow felt that perhaps they would grow a lot because this is the length that was stated in the pattern. And I had to wait until we got home, and I blocked it, and I thought that it grew a little bit and hadn't really decided if it was still too short or not. But I let it be as for now or then. And I've used it a little bit since then. I put on the buttons, and I bought these buttons as well in Japan. I think the place I bought these were called Okadaya. Perhaps, I think it's a store in Shinjuku with a whole floor of only like selling buttons. I was there last year as well and also bought buttons there. So it's a store I've been to before, and I really like it. But so I sewed on the buttons and I finished the whole cardigan, and I've used it twice, but since I've used it, I've come to realize that I think that the sleeves are too short, so I need to go back and lengthen the sleeves, but it's just something that I hadn't had the energy to do yet. I think I will do it soon. The yarn I used for this cardigan is the yarn I bought at the yarn festival. That was in, when was it? October. It's a merino wool from a brand called Avelsås. And yeah, I was complaining about it quite a lot, I think, in my last episode, because it broke so many times, and I don't know if it's super sensitive, but I had to rejoin, I mean, maybe five times for 50 grams, and that was very annoying. But it was just for the few first like 3 to 4 balls of yarn, and then I didn't have any problems with it actually, so that was quite nice. It's super soft. I used it together with Sandnes Garn alpaca följetråd. Now I don't remember the color I've used, but I do have the details as well in my last episode if you want to know the color. Yeah, overall, I mean, I really like it, and I want to see how I feel about it when I have longer sleeves. And I think it's gonna be quite fast just to add a few centimeters, but I've just, like, as of now, haven't had the energy to do it. But I will do it soon, and that's also the reason why I still have the tail here. And I'm also not very excited to rip up the Italian bind-off from the sleeves. It's a very long and slow process. I know that you could do, what do you call it? Surgery. Like, do you call it yarn surgery, knit surgery? Well, you I think what you do is that you put like you secure the place where you want to cut. So you put in like a cable or something, and then you cut just above that row that you put in the cable, and then you knit from there. And then you use the Kitchener stitch, I believe, to sew both of them together. But so like I still haven't decided what I want to do with that, like which method I want to use, and I think also that's why I just haven't had the energy to finish this one completely. I say it's a finished object, but still maybe it's not, because I need to lengthen the sleeves. 5mm needles I think was used for this one, so it was a fast project, and I am very happy with the overall look. But yeah, a few details that I need to add, and when I add them, I don't know. But yeah, those were my finished objects that I've made, including the zipper sweater for my husband, which I think I will be able to show in my next episode. Okay, moving on to my whips. The one that I'm most excited for is this one. Let's start with this one. I cast this on a few days ago, and I've started my Dagmar sweater. So Dagmar sweater is a pattern by Petite Knit. It's one of her latest patterns, I think. It's overall textured cables. You have the honeycomb cables here. You have these cables here. You have cables there. There's a lot of things going on at this sweater, and I have been super excited to start this sweater because I feel like I want something that challenged me this year. I feel like a goal that I have knit wise this year is to challenge myself. I want to do more difficult projects such as cable projects or colorwork projects. Me and my friend bought this together. It was such a good price. I think it was called like Blötbergsboden or something like that. They sold out like, I think it was like buy 10 balls of yarn and get a discount or something. And I bought this gray one, and with the plan to knit the Dagmar sweater. So the construction is that you start, this is the back, and then I think I will pick up for the shoulders and then knit the front and then join to knit the body. And I mean, the look of this one, I'm super happy with this. I just love that it has so many different textures, and the yarn is quite rustic, and I hope that it will feel a little bit better when I'm wearing it after I've blocked it and washed it. But as of now, it's quite rustic. And my friend already actually, she also bought yarn. She bought it in the white undyed color, like natural color. She already made the Dagmar sweater, and she said it felt quite rustic while she was knitting it, but it's much better now that she's using it. So I am intrigued and excited to see what it will feel like. So that's one of my work in progresses. Super excited for it. And yeah, I haven't really been able to put this down since I've started it. It's just so, it's something about having, because I think I've had like all of the projects that I've had recently have been quite simple, in a sense that it's either been like 2x2 ribbing or stockinette stitch throughout. So I think having something like this is something that I've really been planning to for a long time, and now that I've started, it's I cannot put it down. It's something about just feeling immersed in creating something and seeing it grow. And yeah, I've been missing this feeling of challenging myself. So this has given me a lot of good feelings. Another whip that I'm working on as of now is a hat. This is my commute project. I'm working on a hipster hat for my husband. I bought this yarn at the festival as well. I'm so happy to be able now to start using the yarn. The color for this one is 3161. It's like a brown, but a little bit of a gray tone to it. I guess it depends on what you compare it against. I mean, it looks quite brown if you compare it to gray, but if you compare it to like deep brown, it looks quite gray. So it's I'd say it's in the middle. But the hipster hat is starting from the bottom, pattern by Petite Knit as well. I've knitted this one once before, and you just knit 2x2, and therefore it's a perfect commute project. So all of this is what I've knitted when I've been on the train to and from work. My third whip and my last whip is a simple project, but a very special yarn combination. I am knitting the Novus slipover for myself. I don't have any slipovers, and I think it's about time that I have a slipover. It's patterned by Petite Knit again. It's also a pattern that I had in stash for a while, and I've been wanting to knit it for a long time. The reason why this one is quite special is because of the yarn. So the pattern is knit up on 5mm needles. You need, what they recommend is a wool yarn together with a mohair. I don't remember like the exact recommendations that she had, but when I did the calculations when I bought this yarn, it was about the same thickness as the one that she recommended. But the yarn I have for this one, it's special in both senses, is that one is the wool that I bought from our small island on Åland in the archipelago. Let me see if I can grab it. So this is the wool from the sheep on Åland. And especially the Åland's sheep that we have on the island we have our cabin on. Undyed color. I've had this, I bought this, I think it was, when was it? June? July? First time he chose to spin up his wool in a, I think it was, he sends the wool to Finland and then they send it back, and it was the first time he actually tried to sell it at our island. I'm actually very happy that I was there while he sold the yarn. So it's very special because of that. It's bought from a very special place and close to my heart. Not only is this yarn special, but the mohair that I'm using is also quite special because it's also hand-dyed yarn from Japan. So it's the hand-dyed, it's the same store that I bought the other merino wool in from Kyoto. The brand is also Amerisu, 60% super kid mohair, 40% silk. And I mean, just look at this color. Do you see how many different color it has in it? It has pink, blue, green, brown, beige, a lot of different spots of different colors, and therefore I just thought it would be perfect to match it together with the white color, because I think that these together would just make a very, very cute slip over. So I'm using this for the novice slip over, and the color I have right now is that it looks like this. I mean, I don't have much to show yet, but you could see some of the color popping through. And I am just super excited to see what's gonna happen. So here you can see a little bit of blue, pink, green. I hope the camera picks it up. So those are the work in progress that I have, all of them quite special. This one is because of the yarn. I actually think that I want to buy a label that I could sew in to my slip over and explain what yarn I've used in case this slip over will be used in generations to come. I don't know. I think it's just gonna be quite a fun thing to know about this slip over, is that it's just not any type of random yarn. It's yarn from our very little island, and it's also yarn from Kyoto in Japan. Two very special places for us. Okay, so those are the whips that I have at the moment, and now let's move into acquisitions. Okay, so I have a bit of a mix in my acquisitions. The first two being the yarn that I've already showed, the ones that I used for my Alaska hat, and the one that I've used for my novice slip over. Another thing we actually bought while we were in Japan, it was fabric. And yeah, let me show you. So we thought it would be fun to try to sew curtains in our new home, but not full length curtains, only like this. I think it's called like a cape curtain or something, where you just have like the top of the window being covered by a curtain. So we bought some fabric home to be able to try and see if I could sew curtains. It's called furoshiki. It's a reversible fabric, so you could get both sides. I was thinking in our kitchen to start with, and then we'll see if I will sew for another room. We'll see. So we have 3 colors. This one is either yellow or this almost like sage green, I'd say. I think both of them are very nice, and they are reversible, so you could choose which side you want to have poking out. It's not very long. It's 104 times 104 centimeters. This is one of them. The other one looks like this. We've already took it out. That's why it's not as neatly folded as this one. But it also has 2 colors, one of them being this dark blue and the other color being this red. And we'll see what colors we'll choose and which one we want to have as a curtain. And the third one looks like this. And it has orange on the inside. So it's a blue and orange. And they all have different like shapes on them. So this one has this type of shape, which you can also see here in the back. This one has these different types of motifs that you can see here on the back. And this one has this. I'm just reading now what it says here. Reversible furoshiki, which can be used for a bag and a reusable gift wrapping by tying up its corners. This size is also suitable for using as a scarf and a tablecloth. So you could use this for quite a lot of different things, and I wasn't really sure if this would work to use as curtains, but when I showed them, the people who were working were super kind. We bought these in Kyoto as well, in a very cute shop, and I asked them if they thought it would be a good idea to, because I showed them pictures of what type of curtain I was thinking, and they seemed to be very supportive and thought it was a great idea to try. But yeah, I'm a beginner in sewing, so I'm gonna need some help, and I think my mother-in-law is, I think she actually sewed a few curtains before, so I think she might be able to help me out. So those are a few things that we bought. I'm very happy with this, excited, and also a bit scared because it's something that we will showcase in our new home. And I want it to look good, and we bought it, you know, it wasn't very expensive, but it's traveled a long way and I don't want to mess it up. But also very excited to get challenged by something new. Another acquisition I have is actually also a bit different. We bought a sewing table. It's not this normal big sewing table that you think of. It's actually a very small sewing table that has a lot of space for, I guess, like sewing accessories and other things. But we actually bought it at an auction, and I'm very happy with it. It's from the mid-90s. And I will have some footage showing what it looks like. So it has some space that you could put your thread, needles, and other basic stuff. I put cables, extra knitting needles. I put, yeah, just different, you know, things that you have from your knits. And it also has a basket underneath, which I think is a super cute addition that you could take out and use for your whips while you're at home. Objects that has been, yeah, sitting for a while. you could hide them there. It's a very special place to put it in my yarn corner, and I'm very happy with how it's turning out. We are getting more and more comfortable in our home, more and more stuff are getting up. It's still quite empty. We have moved into a much bigger apartment than we had before. And yeah, we are getting there. There's been a lot of work, as I said, going on, but it's starting to get better now. I'm actually very happy that I've had the time to sit down. Some of you has asked me when the next podcast will come out, and I'm sorry that it took a long time, but I've just, you know, focused on my work and our home and didn't have the time to record anything. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. There's been a lot to update you on, and I guess this was a very short way to do it on. I hope that I will be able to record a new podcast soon. And in the meantime, if you like this, please give it a subscribe and a like. And if you want to follow me on more up-to-date updates, you could follow me on my Instagram called Knitted Creation. I post more frequently there. And yeah, if you like this, please follow me on Instagram as well. Thank you very much if you made it this far. I'm very thankful for all of you who has waited and yeah, who are watching my podcasts. Thank you and have a nice day.